presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are so.
Good afternoon, Braves fans, and welcome into the Friday Showdown presented to you by Kaiser Permanente. We're getting you ready for Game 2 of a 4-game set versus the world champion Cubs. Chip Caray and Joe Simpson have the call coming up on Fox Sports South right now. Enjoy the game.
Well, they say St. Louis is baseball heaven, but Chicago, Illinois, and Wrigley Field is tough to beat. Another packed house will gather for the defending world champion Cubs. They host the Braves in Game 2 of our 4-game weekend series. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. Cubs won Game 1 last night on a breezy night for baseball, and really a bittersweet day for the Atlanta Braves. Sweet in that Brandon Phillips gets a chance to play for a potential playoff club, but bitter because one of the best players is wearing an Angels uniform now.
He carried himself very professionally in his time with the Atlanta Braves, and Brandon will be missed. He played terrific for the Braves all season long, hitting around 290 in double digits and homers. Defensively at third base, couldn't ask any more of him. When he moved over there after Ozzie Albies was called up, no errors in 25 games. You see the numbers for him, and great numbers at his home ballpark. So for Brandon to do what he did with the Atlanta Braves and act as a leader, he will be missed, but a great opportunity for him to get into the postseason.
And with the calendar turning to September 1, rosters are expanded. And speaking of opportunities, 6 new Braves have an opportunity to make an impression.
You will need a scorecard to tell your new Atlanta Braves today. Rex Brothers was called back up. Ian Kroll and Luke Jackson were activated from the disabled list. And over on the right-hand column, you got 3 kids. Max Fried called back up. It's rumored that he might pitch here as early as Sunday. Rio Ruiz is in the lineup today. He's called back up to play third base, and Tony Sanchez, don't know if he's here yet, but he's en route after being acquired from the Angels for Brandon Phillips.
So exciting times indeed for the Braves youngsters. Exciting day for Mike Fultonevich. The pride of Minooka, Illinois, gets the ball for the Braves in Game 2 of the series. John Lackey, the Beaver, gets the ball for the Chicago Cubs. It's Game 2 from Wrigley Field. We'll see how it works out right after this.
Call and knew we were at Wrigley, and I was really excited. And hopefully we get a W today. I mean, we were getting ready to have a
coverage throughout your home. And by Delta Airlines.
Well, welcome into an absolutely beautiful afternoon here in the Windy City as we get you ready for Game 2 between the Braves and the Cubs. And you heard Chip mention it, a plethora of roster moves for the Braves as the rosters were able to expand to 40 men. But there were some moves that were not expected thanks to the trade of Brandon Phillips last night. Rio Ruiz had come up and he will slot into that third base spot for now until you add Johan Camargo, Danny Santana, and Adonis Garcia on Monday. But Braves fans, you have to be excited about what you're seeing right now. All of the young players that the Braves are wanting to build this future around are now up here. You have Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Rio Ruiz playing side by side tonight here in Wrigley Field. And Ruiz is a face that we're familiar with. We've seen him multiple times over the past couple of years. But that call that you're getting called up to the big leagues never gets old. So here's Rio earlier today on finding out he was getting called back up.
Pretty much just throwing me right into the fire, I guess you could say, huh? No, I'm excited to get here. I was really looking forward to once I got the call and knew we were at Wrigley, and I was really excited. And hopefully we get a W today. I mean, we were getting ready to have a 7 a.m. bus back to Atlanta for the last 4 games of the season, and I wasn't expecting to really get a call that I was going up. Talked to my agent. He said it's unlikely that you would if he doesn't get traded. So I wasn't really putting my hat on anything too hard, and once that fell through and I got a call I was going up, then I guess you could say emotions were pretty high. I was excited to come back. No, it's exciting to be in the starting lineup in the big leagues. It doesn't matter if it's Wrigley, it doesn't matter if it's Atlanta, it doesn't matter where it is. I'm excited to be in the starting lineup, period.
So he was just playing for Gwinnett last night. Says he found out around 11:30 that he was going to be flying to Chicago today. Hopped on a flight at 7:30, got to Chicago at 9. And today, he's in the lineup playing third, starting for the Braves versus the reigning world champions. And another big thing today, you have Mike Fultonevich on the mound for the Braves. And this is a hometown kid. He grew up an hour away from here. His mom tells me that they're expecting over 100 people in the stands to be here to watch him. But he didn't grow up a Cubs fan. He grew up a Cardinals fan. But you know he's going to want to come out here and perform for his loved ones. And it's also an exciting day today because him and his beautiful fiancee, Brittany, had just announced that they're expecting their first child and they're hosting a gender reveal. So a lot of emotions today on the line for Fulte with all of his friends and family here, finding out the gender of his child here tonight. And he'll hope to get it going in Game 2 versus the Cubs. The Braves dropped it last night, but they'll look to rebound here on a beautiful afternoon in Chicago. But we're leading you up to first pitch of Game 2, so stay with us, guys. Chip and Joe take it back right after the break.
your local Toyota dealer. Let's go places. And SunTrust.
Dressed in shirt sleeves on a 66-degree day with winds out of the east to 13 miles an hour. That means, again, the wind is blowing in. It ought to favor the pitchers. Hopefully it'll favor Mike Foltynewicz, who faces off with John Lackey, who's on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. He's a 10-game winner, Joe. If memory serves, he has an excellent sinking fastball and tremendous incisors.
Absolutely. He will certainly pitch incisor, but pre-All-Star break, he was 5-9. Since then, he was on the DL with plantar fasciitis and came back strong. In fact, his first start was against the Braves after that DL stint. He beat them, went 5 innings, only gave up 1 run. 5-1 with a 4.46 ERA. Boy, that offense has been carrying some of this pitching. But this guy, you know, what a career. 38 years old, out of Abilene, Texas, lives in Austin now. 6'6", 235. He's pitched over 2,800 innings in the big leagues. 186 wins, low 90s fastball, slider, curve, and will work in.
Yes, and 3 World Series rings.
Yes, sir.
Which is important for the Chicago Cubs. Remember, the last time we saw Lackey, there was a threat that he might be banished to the bullpen if he didn't pitch better. Well, he rattled off 5 consecutive victories before getting beat last time out against the Philadelphia Phillies. So Lackey rounding into shape at just the right time for the Cubs, who will face this starting lineup for the Braves, who enter action today at 59 and 73 on the year. Once again, Ender Inciarte leads things off on the Toyota starting 9. Ozzie Albies bats and plays second base. Freeman, Kemp, Markakis the middle of the order. Kurt Suzuki back in harness. Rio Ruiz, as Joe said, just brought back up with rosters expanding. He'll be at third base. Dansby Swanson hits 8th. And a local kid, Mike Foltynewicz, will pitch on the Wrigley Field mound once again this afternoon. Braves fell behind 2-0 after 1. Cubs rolled to a 6-2 victory. 11 hits last evening. 9 of those hits came with 2 outs. Hopefully that trouble won't befall Mike Foltynewicz here in game 2 of 4. Ender Inciarte hopes September starts and ends just like August did. He had an unbelievable month for the Braves last month with 42 hits. And he takes ball 1, and we are underway.
That's unusual. First pitch ball. This guy throws a lot of first pitch strikes. In fact, he's in the top 5 in the National League at 65% first pitch strikes. He likes to get ahead.
Ender's bumped his batting average to .309 with 11 hits and 18 tries on this road trip. And he's got a chance for another one here, as that one's going to bounce in front of Kyle Schwarber, and Ender Inciarte back at it. A leadoff single to start the game. That's 174 hits for the Braves leadoff man.
Braves only were able to put 2 across last night, but in Philadelphia, in each of those games in the doubleheader, when they won both games, Ender got things started. They scored in the first inning and went on from there. So maybe they can parlay that leadoff single into a run today too.
So with Brandon Phillips now an Angel, let's see if Ozzie Albies gets an extended look in the number 2 spot on the lineup. As that one skips up there, no chance for Avila to make the play, and Ender easily in at second base on a very wild pitch.
He looked back like he stepped. Oh, he slipped. His spikes didn't grab. Digging some dirt out of his spikes as he kind of just slid down that front slope. Break for Atlanta.
So the move of Albies to second, a logical one. He's got hits in 11 of his last 12 games and is hitting .277 for the year. Very simple job for him, at the very least, to get into the third base here. Simple in theory, difficult in execution.
Yeah, but if there's anything that maybe young Braves hitters learned from Brandon Phillips, it was that he would use all 3 strikes to try to get that guy over. Always trying to give you a professional at bat and get the man to third base.
2 balls, no strikes. And popped up on a play. Ozzie had a couple of hits, reached base 3 times last night. Batted second. drove in one of the 2 Atlanta runs. The other run was scored on Lane Adams' line drive missile pinch hit home run. Driven down the left field line. Long run. Schwarber still going, and that ball is foul.
That's hard to do. Not much foul territory down there.
If you didn't join us last night, this is our first game at Wrigley Field since they modified the playing surface. They took the bullpens out of foul territory here and put them under the left and right field bleachers, and they added seats down the lines, approximately 350 seats or so. You can see where that foul line creeps right up against the brick wall, entering the corners. The pitch really smothers that, and Lackey's got a full count. Tipped and caught off-speed pitch. Ozzie asks if it was a strike. I think the answer from Field and Culbreth was yes. 1 out. He can't advance the runner.
Was not a good at bat, and even the fly balls to left field, there was no attempt, it looked like, to try and pull the ball.
So that brings up Freddie Freeman. Freddie 3 for 16 at the plate on the road trip. Freddie was 0 for 3 with a walk last night. That's in for a strike. See the yellow wristbands that a lot of the players are sporting. And Culbreth behind the plate. Freddie Freeman at the plate. That's for the Go for Gold campaign that Major League Baseball is endorsing. There's the 0-1 pitch. It's a cause that's very near and dear to our colleague and pal Tom Gladden and his lovely wife Chris. The search for a cure to childhood cancer. Will be featured all month long in September. One ball, 1 strike. Freddie right on top of the plate. And 1-2.
Lackey's made 5 starts in his career against Atlanta. He's 2-1, 2.5 ERA. Been with a lot of different ball clubs to rack up his 186 career wins. Second year with Chicago.
And it just missed. Umpires thought it was good enough. 2-2. Now Lackey's ready. Ender has a good lead out at second base. Baez playing behind him. The pitch is rolled foul and ricochet to Eddie Perez. And he makes a fan right beyond the Braves dugout. What a treat. 2 more games against the Cubs this weekend. A 4-game series. Braves trying to get on the board for the first time against Chicago. The Cubs swept us at SunTrust Park and won here last night. And the 2-2 is caught out and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lackey. And Matt Kemp's coming up with Ender still at second base, but now 2 out.
Fastball down at the knees, a little below the knees. They played really well here at home. Lately, they've won 7 straight here at Wrigley Field, 4 in a row overall.
That buzzed to the tower. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs are rolling. They've won 10 out of 13 games. They've taken advantage of a very favorable schedule, a schedule that should favor them in the final month. 16 of their remaining games are against sub-500 clubs, and they already have the division lead. The pitch is swung on and missed by Matt Kemp, who's faced Lackey a lot. There are 3 hitters who have seen him quite a bit. Matt Kemp's had 24 at-bats. Nick Markakis 72 at-bats. Kurt Suzuki 38 career at-bats. Nick would love a chance to hit here in the first inning. .93 miles an hour.
Yeah, they were getting Matt last night with fastballs. He was not able to get out in front.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good try, but clearly off the plate. 2-2. The big right-hander ready. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Matt Kemp. Did he go? Yes, he did. And John Lackey surrenders a leadoff hit and then struck out the next 3 Atlanta hitters. Mike Foltynewicz to the mound. No score at Wrigley. He worked around that with 3 straight strikeouts. Now the tide turns for the Cubs are coming up. A red-hot hitting team facing Manuka, Illinois' pride and joy, Mike Foltynewicz.
I wanted to show you the home road splits for him because record-wise it's all about the same. His ERA's higher, but he's given up 19 home runs and 14 on the road. That really surprised me today when I saw that. Wind blowing in, that might help him today here at Wrigley Field. Let's take a look at his 4 keys to pitching success. And today, 15 PPI. Any ideas? Pitches per inning.
Oh, okay.
Keep that pitch count down, and it's a new month. August was really rough for him. He went 1-4 with an 8.61 ERA. New month.
He made an excellent point last night, one of many, as Zobrist takes a strike. Mike had a lot of friends and family watching him pitch in St. Louis. You heard Kelsey's report. A lot of people have made the trek to Wrigley Field today. And we know how emotional Mike can get on the mound, sometimes to his detriment. How does he control that this afternoon?
Yeah, and already overthrowing a little bit.
To center. But the wind's going to knock that down, and Ender in center field with the glasses gleaming makes the play. And that's out number 1.
Zobrist got a little Glenn Beckert look working today.
was Ron Santo's roommate in the late 60s. Here's the Cubs lineup. Kyle Schwarber back up from Iowa, hitting .199 but 24 homers. Bryant, Rizzo, Happ, Vila, Jason Hayward, the former Brave, is in right field. Baez and Lackey 8th and 9th. And the Cubs are rolling offensively. They scored 6 last night. They scored over 7 runs a game on average in their last 13 games, and they've won 10 of those. They're getting hot at the right time. Kyle Schwarber playing left field. Takes outside. This guy was the toast of Chicago last year when he came back in postseason play. If the National League had had home field advantage, I'm not sure if the Cubs would have won the World Series. Got to be the DH. The 4 games played in Cleveland, and Schwarber had a big impact on the Cubs offense. A lot of strikeouts forced the Cubs to send him back to Iowa to try to get his swing back in form. And he's hitting .243 since July 6th when he returned. Another one to center. And Ender battling the sun. Has a beat on that and makes the play. 2 outs.
The reason for the 15 pitches per inning is pretty simple. It may not result in as many strikeouts, but it results in a more economical outing. It cuts down on walks. It's pitching to contact, and as hard as he throws with his good breaking ball, chances are it won't be solid contact, and already 2 pop-ups.
Isn't that the next step for young pitchers, the evolution of not only harnessing that good stuff, but rationing that good stuff? We've seen Sean Newcomb with his fastball curveball combination get the 2 strikes, but then has to labor to get either strike 3 or out 3.
Yeah, save a little 97 or 98 for when you need it. You need to polish somebody off. Good breaking ball.
Bryant hit his 25th homer here last night. 2 extra base hits, 2 runs, 2 RBIs for him. This one's popped up. That's going to be well out of play. Suzuki chased it but ran out of room. It's 1-2. So he's got 2 strikes on Bryant. Mike's thrown just 12 pitches in the opening inning. So far so good. Bryant with 104 strikeouts on the year. Grounds one to the left side and picked and fired by Dansby. Nice play. It's a 13-pitch inning for Mike Foltynewicz, who gets the Cubs in order. And we head to a scoreless second. Go Cubs from Wrigley Field, brought to you by Kaiser Permanente. What a gorgeous place on a day like today. Early taste of autumn. First day of fall 3 weeks from today, if memory serves. And the hardy souls in the bleachers, protected by the stands, can wear the short sleeves and have a grand old time.
Yeah, it's a great day for the folks in the bleachers. Best seat in the house. The wind blocked off of them. Cold Coors Light.
And a hot hitter coming up. Nick Markakis, 6 for his last 15. He'll start hitting number 2. '72 lifetime at bats for Nick against John Lackey. He's got 24 hits in those 72. That's a .333 average. And John turns it loose and got the corner call. It's a strike.
Watching Lackey pitch, it's a lot different than the modern day young pitchers. He's got a full wind up, hands up over the head. Rock and fire.
And that's drilled toward left. Schwarber is going to come on, dive, somersault. Did he hang on? Yes!
It's making the whole team laugh because they know that that doesn't happen. Now the question is, did he really catch it? Would appear that
he did. Little known fact, very loosely translated, Schwarber does mean somersault.
He didn't know if he had it or not.
What a catch. And that's almost as good as John Smoltz stop, drop, and roll play. There's very little that's as entertaining as that, but this might be close.
Up and the fingers stayed in the glove.
Here's Kurt Suzuki. And he takes low and away. And we've said it a million times. It doesn't matter how it looks. It's the end result. And that's a great play. First out of the inning. Slow roller hit toward third. Bryant charges, gloves, fires across, and Rizzo with a nice move at first base to get Kurt Suzuki for the second out. Rizzo does that play about as well as any first baseman in the league.
Yeah, he's good over there. Nice play, pretty play by Bryant that made the throw that pulled him into foul territory. Little defense behind Lackey this inning. He struck out the side in the first.
So as we told you, it's an exciting time for the Braves organization in September. I'll look at some of the familiar and unfamiliar faces in the minor leagues. Rio Ruiz is one of the familiar ones, and he cracks a single up the middle. So a 2-out hit for him past diving Ben Zobrist, and Lackey has to go back to the stretch.
Rio Ruiz did not finish well before he was sent back to Gwinnett. He was having a rough time, but he went to Gwinnett and finished up strong there. 25 doubles, 16 home runs, 56 RBIs, hit right at 250.
So good to have Rio back. And he's at first base for Dansby Swanson, who looks for his first hit of the year against the Cubs. Didn't get it. Dansby's got a hit in 16 of his last 20 games. 21 hits in that stretch. He's gotten on base a lot. Dansby's drawn a ton of walks. Last night he reached on air and scored. And cued out a play just like that. It's 0-2.
Last night we saw a lot of swings and misses by the Braves on Kyle Hendricks with his good assortment of off-speed stuff, and already 7 swings and misses in the first 8 hitters against Lackey. He throws harder than Hendricks, but he's got a wide assortment of weapons.
Dansby didn't chase that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Same thing you said on Foltynewicz could apply to John Lackey. Stressful pitches and number of pitches. He does not pitch past the 5th or 6th inning very often for the Cubs. In fact, he's done that once since June 1st. A line drive by Dansby on a 1-2 count will clear the Atlanta pitcher Mike Foltynewicz. So Dansby's first hit against Chicago, a solid single to center.
Love what he's been doing. Love the way he's been going about it, using the whole field. And as I said, when he first came back, he's hitting the ball with more authority. Ball's jumping off his bat again.
Foltynewicz a chance to help himself. Mike is 2 for 37 at the plate with 25 strikeouts. Ruiz and Swanson, the runners, the pitch.
All right.
Turned it loose. Why not?
He did. Well, he turns it loose quite often. He just never in the same neighborhood. And he's usually stepping in the bucket, but he held in there pretty close that time.
No balls, 2 strikes. Here it is in the dirt. A nice stop. Cubs got a feeler, and Justin Wilson from the Tigers, you might recall. Wilson Contreras went down with a hamstring. Last night, Rene Rivera was the Cubs catcher. One ball, 2 strikes. That's hit towards second. Zobrist scoops it up, and that will retire the side. The Braves clear the pitcher. They get 2 more hits against John Lackey, and Anthony Rizzo's coming up in the Cubs second.
Bazooka from Nooka, they started the name for me. It's you know, I don't mind it. It's you know, it rhymes at least. You know, I've heard a couple other funny ones, but you know, it's, you know, I'll take what I can get.
Well, special day for Mike. You heard Kelsey report that he has roughly 100 friends and family making the trek from Minooka, Illinois to Wrigley Field. That's Mike's mom, Cindy. She's always got her Braves gear on. Loves watching Mike pitch. Hopefully today's the day he can turn things around after a 5-inning, 1-run outing against Colorado. Last time out, Joe, definitely a step in the right direction for Mr. Fultonevich.
He had a great game the first game of August and a good game the last day of August. It was the ones in between where he wasn't Mike. He went somewhere else, and boy, did he struggle.
Gave up 21 earned runs in 16 2/3 innings after emerging as the real stopper, maybe the ace in waiting for the Braves.
May, June, and July went 9-3.
He's 10-10 entering action today in Chicago. But he got the Cubs 1-2-3 in the first 13 pitches. One of Joe's Ford keys. And now he faces Anthony Rizzo. Takes one downstairs for ball 2. How do you pitch this guy? You know he can hit a fastball. You know he's right on top of the plate. You know he wants to get his arms extended. So where do you go?
Now he wants the ball inside. He's crowding the plate to invite you to come in there because he turns on the ball so well. Last night he took an 0 for 4 because I thought Newcomb did a good job of keeping him honest inside and then going away.
And the danger, besides the home run ball for Rizzo, he's not afraid to get hit.
No.
21 times.
See the way the Braves are defensing him by putting a shift on the right side. He wants the ball in.
That one out the corner at the knees. Is Mike all right?
Well, he fell too. I don't know if he slipped like Lackey did or not. Yeah, it's that slope. It's that front slope. And I got to tell you, I watched the ground crew today. I've never seen so much drying agent put on a field.
Rounded toward first. Backhand play by Freeman. And he'll take it to the bag for the first out.
It's not like it rained and they had to put a lot of it out, but they did so yesterday too, and they covered this field in drying agent. The mound and home plate, with the exception of the area right in front of home plate, that little spot between home plate and the mound, it's soaking wet. So I'm going to assume, and I saw them really using the tamp on the mound too, but then they put the loose stuff on the slope of the mound and they're sliding on it.
And Happ didn't get a fastball and a strike. I saw the grounds crew before the Cubs took batting practice as well yesterday. They took an old-fashioned flower watering can, and they were just soaking that slope of the mound in front of the pitcher's rubber, which I guess is clay.
Well, that's okay, but don't make it hard underneath and then real loose on top.
So Lackey slipped. Fultonevich has slipped. So far, no harm, no foul as Happ takes ball 2. Happ's another former #1 pick by the Cubs. 20 homer man with 51 RBIs. He can play all 3 outfield spots. As he has a look back and questions that call from Fielden Culbreth.
Look at that dark area right in front of the plate and in that little diamond area between the lines. That is soaked.
Swing and a miss. There's the first strikeout for Fultonevich. 5 up, 5 down. Well, remember last year we came and did a game, several games here at Wrigley Field, and we saw some guys hit swinging bunts, and the ball would hit in that dirt, and it almost looked like moon craters. We could see the dirt just exploding away from the baseball as it left a divot. Of course, the Cubs have the opportunity to manicure their if they want.
If you're a sinker baller, you love it.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Here's Alex Avila, the former Tiger catcher, now with the Cubs. He's knocked in 15 runs already and takes a strike. Avila was probably rooting like crazy last night for the Cubs to pull off what many thought would have been an impossible deal. Rumor has it the Cubs were in on Justin Verlander until the final moments before midnight Eastern time. In fact, Verlander said that Chicago was his preferred destination if the Cubs and Tigers could work out a trade. That didn't happen. And So with a minute to go before the deadline, Verlander approved the trade to the Houston Astros. They've been looking for a frontline starter most of the year.
He's pitched well too in the second half, and when they get Correa back and get that offense recharged, he's going to like pitching there too.
On ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, good try. Reached back for a little extra on that one to try to put him away and just missed.
Now Mike ready with his 2-2 pitch. Avila's dad, Al, is the general manager of the Tigers. That had to be an interesting phone call. Son, I'm trading you. All's well that ended well. He's going to the defending world champs.
And it could have been one of those, Dad, will you please trade me?
At the time of the deal, we mentioned it that Al Avila is the first general manager to trade his own son since Al Campanis did that when he was the GM of the Dodgers. So that's a real rarity. So the Tigers in full rebuild mode. Verlander gone, Upton gone, Avila gone.
J.D. Martinez.
Yep, he went to Arizona. He's been terrific. So the Diamondbacks, by the way, they're rolling. They've got a big series with the Colorado Rockies tonight. It kicks off at Coors Field.
Yeah, they've won 7 straight. Just swept the Dodgers.
Good at bat for Avila. You'll see pitch number 8 in the sequence. And Fultonevich thought that was good enough to be called strike 3. And I think Kurt Suzuki's asking the same thing. So the first one that doesn't go Mike's way, and this is where you have to pay very close attention to the Braves pitcher.
Nothing wrong with the pitch.
So that's the first Cubs base runner, and it brings up Jason Hayward. Jason's playing in his 101st game for the Cubs today. In 2017, he's got 8 homers. And starting, was originally in the lineup in center field, but that apparently was a clerical mistake. He was penciled in right from the get-go by Joe Madden. So here we go. Here's the first inning where Mike's pitch count is starting to climb now. He's at 21 second inning pitches.
And not getting ahead in the count at all. A lot of ball 1, ball 2 counts. Change up.
Jason Hayward signed through 2023 for the Cubs. And that one's hammered toward right center. Buttender is there. He's got it. And that retires the side. Cubs get a 2-out walk. Nothing else. We are off to the third. Top of the order coming up for the Braves. No score in game 2. The first Atlanta hitter, Ender Inciarte, who's coming up in the third inning. No score at Wrigley Field. And Ender, as you'd expect, our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
His last 11 games have been pretty special. 7 RBIs, close to a 500 batting average. And another hit today. 12 for his last 19.
Ender trying to become the first Brave since Marquise Grissom to get to the 200 hits mark in a single year. He's got 174 of them. And 30 games left, including today's action. Right there, a called strike.
For you young fans who don't know much about Marquise Grissom, look him up. One of the most consistent players of his era. Hits, average, runs scored, and tremendous defense, as good as anybody in center field.
Lifted toward left. Schwarber on the run. The wind will push that into the left field stands. 0-2.
He's not going to go in the Hall of Fame, but I'll tell you what, he's in my Hall of Fame. I always enjoyed watching Grissom play the game the right way. Look him up.
227 lifetime homers. 2,251 hits for Marquise. I wasn't aware of that.
How many stolen bases?
429 of them. 2 great years with the Braves in 95 and 96. Out of play foul.
All you need to know about his defensive ability is that he was the Braves center fielder when Andrew Jones got called up, and Andrew had to play left field.
The 1-2. For his 1996 season, 158 games for Grissom, 106 runs, 207 hits, 23 homers, drove in 74, was 28 for 39 in steals, a 349 on base, and 838 OPS.
Thank you very much.
One-two. Is going away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Still lives in the Atlanta area and does a lot of great things for youth sports, particularly baseball.
Lined again. Good at bat and battle here by Ender. And I'd almost bet the mortgage that if Inciarte gets to 207 or 208 hits, one of the first guys that will call him or reach out to him would be Marquise Grissom.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
So Mackey's had to use 7 pitches so far. He's about to make his 8th to the Braves leadoff man. Hits that one into center field. Happ is there. He's got it for the first out. Again, with the wind blowing the way it is, it's going to be tough to hit the ball out of the ballpark with a lot of trajectory. You can get it out if you hit a line drive, but those winds blowing in at 14 miles an hour definitely favor the pitchers. And that's not surprisingly the case here at Wrigley Field, which has a reputation as a great hitter's park, and at times it is. But this is their 67th home game. As Ozzie hits one towards center again. And Happ is there. 2 outs. This is the 51st time in 67 games the wind is either blown in or across. And Mackey's smart enough to know how to use center field to his advantage. Hit it high and see if you're strong enough to hit it out. Freddie Freeman struck out his first time, so he's 0 for 1. Shift on again for the Cubs. Ball one.
Years in the big leagues for John Lackey.
Smoked and caught. Leaping grab retires Freddie Freeman. If it weren't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. Zobrist with a terrific leaping snare, and the Braves are done 1-2-3 in the top of the third. For the Braves this September. Tweet us at Fox Sports Braves using the hashtag ChopTimber, and your tweet could be used in the Braves Live post-game show. Last September was outstanding for the Braves. You might recall they won 20 of their last 30 ball games. As Javier Baez leads off for Chicago and is quickly down a strike.
That was a great month.
Baez, another Cub that's not afraid to swing the bat. He's hit 20 homers. He seldom walks, and he struck out 121 times. He was 1 for 4 last night with an RBI in the first inning. Takes a little low ball too. Mike could use an easy inning. 23 second inning pitches, and he just took care of Baez with a nasty slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not missing by much.
Full count. Missed again. Baez flips the bat away. A rare walk for him. Now Lackey will have a chance to bunt with a runner at first. Nobody out.
He didn't get the 2-2 call. Arms went limp at his side, looked to the sky, got the throw back, and then he tried to throw the 3-2 pitch 800 miles an hour. Zero command. Ball 4.
Lackey with 3 sacrifices. Out the corner that time. Strike one.
Braves went 10-13 in April, 12-16 in May, 16-12 in June, 10-15 in July.
That's popped up. Suzuki gives chase, but won't have a play.
And 11-17 in August.
Yanks ahead of the pitcher, 0-2. Yankee got it down though with 2 strikes. That's a big play. And Foltynewicz flips to first. Runner at second with 1 out. 4th sacrifice for Lackey. So here's Zobrist. I'll be careful with this guy on the first pitch.
Coming into this inning, Mike had only thrown 2 of 7 first pitch strikes. He'd already gone to 3 2-0 counts through the first 7 batters. So again, getting ahead with his stuff is all important.
First pitch skied towards center. Ender battling the sun and makes the play. And Baez back to second base. 4 flyouts to center field for Mike Foltynewicz. John Lackey's gotten 2 flyouts to center field. Perfect day to do that. And here's Kyle Schwarber, one of those 4 men to be retired by Ender. Strike. Kyle Schwarber last year tore ligaments in his left knee when he collided with Dexter Fowler last April. He came back for the World Series. How about that? And all Kyle Schwarber did for the Cubs in the World Series was hit .412 with 2 RBIs.
And I think he was in. The seasons were over for their minor league teams. I think he had to go to instructional league to get some at-bats to get ready for the postseason to determine if they were going to add him.
Swinging bunt. That's a tough play. Folty slides, fires, and not in time. Throw to the plate. Safe. Baez never stopped running. And for the moment, the Cubs get a 3rd inning run. Freddie Freeman wants the Braves to review the play at first base. He thinks Schwarber was out. If he is, the inning will end.
Well, this will be a huge call. Two outs. Baez is just reading Foltynewicz. And a throw from Freddie that was off the mark. Did not allow Suzuki to have a chance to make a tag.
So for the moment, it's a single and an RBI. But the Braves are going to challenge the call at first base. Let's see if there's enough evidence to overturn the safe call. This is as close as they come.
Yeah.
And the problem is there enough evidence to change the call, which was, again, safe?
Hard to tell there when the ball got into the glove, but we saw an angle from third base side that looked like it was right here, pretty much a tie. Ball, glove, foot down. Safe.
So great base running by Baez, and Schwarber just quick enough to beat the Rap at first for an RBI infield hit. And it's 1-0 Cubs. Great play by Foltynewicz to make that as close as he did. Somehow you got to stop the bleeding here with Chris Bryant.
Baez is a fearless runner.
Stole home against the Pirates the other day here. He scored from second on a 25-foot ground ball to make it 1-0 Chicago in the third inning, and the leadoff walk comes back to haunt the Braves right-hander. Two balls and a strike. I prefer not to see Mr. Rizzo this inning.
Right.
On his way to first base.
Well, if Fultonevich had gotten that call on Baez, he never would have walked.
Right. So now Schwarber will get a head start at first base. There he goes, and Bryant grounds toward third. Rios got it, and his throw to first is in time. And that retires the side. A leadoff walk, a 25-foot dribbler turns into an exciting first run for the Cubs. We go to the fourth. Wrigley Field. Let's check out today's cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Chilly day, chilly results for the Braves head to head with the Cubs in recent history.
Boy, has this been turned around. Cubs have really owned the Braves over the last 3 seasons. They're 4-0 against them this year. But two of the last 3 seasons, Cubs have been mighty good. Braves have not.
So John Lackey helps himself to a 1-0 lead. Key play was his sacrifice with 2 strikes, you might recall. So now he's back to work with Kemp, Markakis, and Suzuki, the Graybeards that have faced him a lot. Let's see what happens. And called strike. Popped him up. High sky, wind blowing. Baez says he's got it. He makes the one-handed catch. 5 up, 5 down for Lackey. Here's Markakis, who was robbed by Schwarber back in the second inning. with 139 hits for the Braves this year. 32 doubles. And he scored 64 runs. That 64-run total is fourth most on the team. Braves team leader in runs scored. Not surprisingly is Ender, who's tallied 83 of them. Brandon Phillips 68. Freddie Freeman 65. 2 balls and a strike. Again to center. Happ turned the wrong way but recovers. He's got that play down. He's done that a couple of times for the Cubs in this series. No harm done. He makes the play. 2 outs.
Well, as we said last night, if you're playing center field last night or today, you better not take your eye off the ball. You better track it because of how the wind is blowing. Looks like it's calmed down a little bit and blowing more straight in from right field.
Kurt Suzuki with 2 outs. And low and away. Sharply hit and just foul.
He's the only guy that's really pulled the ball. Freddie hit a line drive that was caught by Zobrist last inning. He pulled it.
Kurt just missed a home run here last night, at least a chance for one. In the 8th inning, he flied out to left. Is Lackey ready with a 1-1 pitch? Smoked again. This one is going to be foul. Oh, that was close. How about that shirt?
No argument from Ron Washington.
How about the grab? Clearly foul. And right in the old breadbasket.
Well, it was fairly obvious. It wasn't going anywhere except right there. Stop.
In the air again. And Happ is there. Hayward's over to try to help him out. And who made the grab? It was Happ that made the grab. A 10-pitch inning for Lackey and almost a major collision. The Cubs have seen enough of those in recent history. Lackey leads 1-0.
Mike Foltynewicz back out on the mound for the Braves, and he's a hometown kid. You've heard us mention it. He grew up about an hour away from here. His mom tells me that they're expecting over 100 friends and family to be traveling to be in the stands here today. But it's even more special for him recently because you see it right there. Him and his beautiful fiancee, Brittany, just announced they are expecting their first child, and they're hosting a gender reveal tonight since they are home here in Chicago. But Chip and Joe, I talked to Brittany, and she said when she got that jersey made, they couldn't fit Foltynewicz on the back, so they went with Folty for short.
Yeah, that would have been a problem for that Little League size.
So what an exciting time for Mike, Brittany, and the entire Foltynewicz clan. As we head to the fourth inning, Anthony Rizzo leads off for the Cubs, who lead 1-0. Swing and a drive headed for the right field corner. That ball is fair. It'll ricochet back toward Markakis, and Rizzo with a leadoff double gets the inning started.
Remember, I said he likes the ball in. Standing on top of the plate, he gets the barrel out. Right down into the corner.
So Rizzo has one part of a big milestone out of the way for the Cubs. That's his 30th double. Here's the pitch. If he gets 3 more RBIs this year, he will have 30 homers, 100 RBIs, and 30 doubles in a single season. Only 3 other Cubs in history have ever done that. Sammy Sosa, Billy Williams, and Hack Wilson.
Yeah, it was more than 1 year.
Right, but 3 men performed that feat for them. Hack Wilson did it 4 times in 1927 and 1930. Billy Williams 3 times, and Sammy Sosa 3 times. What a player. And what an acquisition by the Cubs, who traded Andrew Cashner for Anthony Rizzo. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Ian Happ. He struck out his first time up. Michael trying to keep him from getting Rizzo to third base here. But it's not going to happen. It's a base hit in the right center field. Rizzo around third. He's going to score without a throw, and another 2-strike hit for the Cubs in the series makes it 2-0.
Like Happ got something off speed, he did, and it was off the plate a little bit too, but he cut down on his swing, put it in play. First-round pick has had himself quite a year. A lot of strikeouts, 20 homers, and now 52 RBIs.
So back-to-back hits for the Cubs. They extend their lead to 2-0. Here's Avila. Alex walked back in the second inning. It's in for a strike. One of Joe's keys, 15 pitches per inning on average would be ideal for Mike. Going to work overtime in the second inning. The leadoff walk cost him a run in the third.
He threw 55 pitches through 3.
8th this inning and nobody out. close play at first. And back safely. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. That's a good choice.
Well executed there. 2-1 change up.
Full count. So let's see what Joe Madden does here. Happ's got decent speed. You've got Avila, then you've got Hayward. Nobody out. 2-0. Chicago in front.
If I'm Avila and they're going to send him, I want to know so that I can treat it like a hit and run and try to put the ball in play on anything close.
He's not going, and it's ball 4. So now you got real trouble. 2 on, nobody out, a run in. Jason Hayward, the hitter. Mike has had 6 3-ball counts, 5 full counts, 3 walks. And Chuck Hernandez out for a visit.
Mechanically speaking, he has really fallen off the mound even more so than usual. Not driving to the plate as much. Chuck's pretty animated for Chuck on this visit.
This is an interesting Cubs club. They lead the National League in home runs as an offense. They're second in walks. So they are not going up there as a group just trying to hit it over the ivy in this ballpark. They will work counts. And then when it's time to deliver the hammer strike, they certainly have the personnel 1 through 8 to do it. So after that animated meeting, let's see what Fultonevich and Suzuki come up with to try to retire Jason Hayward. 1.
Jason a little more open stance than we're accustomed to seeing. Hands lower. That was something he worked on in the offseason. But as we discussed when the Cubs were in Atlanta right after the All-Star break, the one thing that is still is part of Jason's swing that will be hard to ever get rid of is that top hand twisting as he's about to start his swing.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's the top hand. See how the knuckles turn about a half turn. It's almost the big knuckles on his left hand are almost facing the pitcher.
1-2 pitch. Popped him up. And in foul ground, Freddie Freeman has plenty of room. He'll take care of his old pal, Jason Hayward. No advance of the runners. There's the first out of the inning.
Watch his hand turn as he starts that swing. Fingers go on a bigger wrap around the bat. And it's very hard to not have a loop in your swing that causes, try it with a broom handle. If you lock that top hand There's no way to keep the bat from rolling right through the zone.
So 2 on, 1 out. Baez the batter. You've got Lackey next. Baez walked to lead off the third and scored the first run on a swinging bunt by Carl Schwarber. Only scored from second on a little 25-foot roll.
This guy plays with a lot of enthusiasm. He's kind of the wild horse of the Osage who was at for the Cardinals in the gas house.
Pepper Martin.
Pepper Martin. He kind of plays with that reckless abandon. He'll run into some outs. He'll swing and miss quite a bit. Even when he's behind the count, he's still going for the pump. Man, he can play.
He's got a hairdo like Manny Ramirez too. New look for Javier Baez.
Well, he's hitting 8th, and he's got 20 homers. He's hitting 270 and driven in 65 runs. Yasiel Puig-like.
How'd you like to face this line? Not easy. Ground ball toward short. There'll be one play, and it's made to second base. That forces Avila. Runners are at the corners. Lackey the hitter. Nice pitch for Fultonevich to get the second out.
He's got 7 hits, including a double.
Kurt's got to be on his toes behind the plate. Anything in the dirt. Hop will think about trying to score from third base. First and third, 2 outs, 2-0 game. And up and away, ball 1. 23 pitches this inning for Fultonevich, who's had 1-1-2-3 inning. That was the first. He threw 13 in that frame. Got the call that time. If he can get out of this, allowing just 1, that's a big moral victory. Runner at first goes, and the pitch low and away. And Baez moves up 90 feet. 2-2, 2 out. Ground ball right side. Ozzy's got it. And his peg to first is in plenty of time. That'll take care of the Cubs. They pick up a run, 2 hits, and strand a pair. We're through 4 at Wrigley. 2-0. is outside the ballpark down past the third base line. They built a beautiful park area and a brand new office building, and that is the trophy room where the 2016 World Series championship trophy is on display for the Cubs fans. If you had stepped into a time capsule and came back, you wouldn't recognize this place from the exterior, much less the interior. The old area that was just a parking lot for the TV trucks and the players' parking lot has been transformed into a beautiful outdoor living space for the Cubs, their fans, and for the entire Wrigleyville neighborhood, just beyond that left field grandstand. Pretty amazing. Kind of their version of what the Braves have done with the Battery. So John Lackey leading 2-0 goes to the 5th inning. He set down 7 in a row. He's got the bottom part of the Braves order coming up. Rio Ruiz leads off. Dansby Swanson to follow.
7 in a row, 6 on fly ball outs. Here's that park area chip.
Yeah, fans are out playing catch with their kids before the game. And some outdoor seating with umbrellas. Fans can have a cup of coffee, or as you said, a Coors Light for the game.
It's a lot like the plaza area there at SunTrust Park.
The Ricketts family has done an amazing job here. The Cubs ownership. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lackey working into the 5th inning. And a swing and a miss. Ruiz down on strikes. And that's the first for Lackey since the 1st inning, when he struck out 3 in a row after Ender led off with a hit. So 8 up, 8 down. There's Dansby Swanson. Lackey making his 26th start of the season. He's won 10, lost 10. Only 2 times has he pitched scoreless baseball through 5 innings.
Yeah, his ERA is 5.498. The way the Braves were swinging at the first couple of innings, I thought it was going to be a short day for him.
Dansby had a solid single up the middle for his first hit against the Cubs this year. He was left stranded in that 2nd inning. And Lackey back to work, 0-1. Ball 2. Didn't get the inside corner. Foltynewicz, the Brave starter, waiting on deck. Manageable game. Got to get something going against this guy. The 3-1. Here's the play.
He's only been chosen for 1 All-Star game, and that was 2007, and he didn't pitch. Yet this guy has pitched in 9 division series. 4-2 with a 3.04 ERA. He's pitched in 6 league championship series. He's 2-2 with a 3.51 ERA, and 3 World Series where he's 2-2 with a 3.45 ERA. But only 1 All-Star team.
3-2. Bouncing ball hit toward Baez, in between hop, but he stays with it. Makes the play. So that leads me to a question. As the Cubs starting staff stands right now, you've got Arrieta, Quintana, Lester, Hendricks, Montgomery, and Lackey. That's 6 capable starters. You don't need 6 starters when you get to postseason play. How does Joe Madden sort all of that out?
Who's hot, who's not, who he's got confidence in.
Two quick outs.
To be honest with you, Lackey did not pitch well last year for the Cubs. One division series start against the Giants, 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, no decision. Against the Dodgers, a start, 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, no decision.
It's hit to left. Schwarber makes the running catch, and John Lackey is chewing right through the Braves' lumber through 5 innings. He leads 2-0. Wingert back at Wrigley Field. We head to the home fifth. Cubs 2, Braves nothing. Just 6 hits combined in game 2.
I've been comparing the Cubs and Indians to each other because of the way they've played better since the All-Star break after just kind of playing 500 ball in the first half, and the Indians now with a 6.5 game lead over Minnesota coming into play today. And the Cubs with a 3.5 game lead over Milwaukee would have won 4 in a row.
Well, for Houston, at one point it looked like they were going to have an insurmountable lead for the best record going into postseason play in the AL race. That's not the case anymore. They've got 80 wins. Cleveland and Boston both with 76. That's something else the Astros have to play for, not to mention playing for their city. That's going to be an out. Zobrist retired. He's 0 for 3. And a good start for Mike in the 5th inning. The Astros, by the way, are back in Houston. They are supposed to host the Mets. That game was postponed before New York ever got to town.
Right.
The plan is for the Mets and Astros to play a doubleheader tomorrow, and then game 3 on Sunday.
Correct.
I cannot imagine what the emotion is going to be like at Minute Maid Park for those players, for those fans, those that are able to get there, and for the city of Houston.
I am blown away by what J.J. Watt of the Houston Texans has done. He's raised over $10 million. He's gotten donations from teams, from players, from individuals all over the country, seeking everyone's help. Had a goal, I think, of $500,000 was his immediate goal, and he's up over $10 million. Unreal.
2 balls and a strike for Schwarber. It's now 2-2. Shift on for Schwarber. Pops one up. And Ender is coming on. Matt Kemp will join him. It'll be Inciarte at shallow left center. And there's the second out as Foltynewicz at the 90 pitch mark. You can help those affected in Houston by Hurricane Harvey. Go to redcross.org or text the word Harvey to 90999. By doing so, you'll make a $10 donation. Every bit of it counts. Your donation helps the Red Cross prepare for, respond to, and help those recover from that natural disaster.
Gretchen tells me that J.J. Watt's efforts are now up over 14 million.
Wow.
So proud for him.
Opie goes out and throws out the first pitch. As that one's popped up, Ozzie makes the play. A 9-pitch inning for Foltynewicz. He needed that. He's thrown 91 through 5 at the top of the order coming up in the Atlanta 6th.
When you think of Wrigley Field, you think of the Ivy. And I talked to Justin Spillman. He's the head of the grounds crew here at Wrigley Field about this unique part of the ballpark. And he said that it's 80 years old this year. It was originally planted back in 1937. It's a mix of Boston ivy and bittersweet ivy, but that Boston ivy has taken over, but it does require a lot of maintenance. So they actually fixed the irrigation system here at Wrigley Field so the water waters the ivy as well. He said they have to trim the ivy every time the team comes back into town. They fertilize it similar to how they fertilize the field, and they have to spray it once a month. And he said in the fall, as that's coming up, the leaves fall on the ground, so they have to pick those up before every single game. But Chip and Joe, a beautiful feature of this ballpark and what everybody thinks of when they come here.
You're right, Kelsey. It's the indescribably significant architectural feature of this park. You know exactly where you are if you're a baseball fan when you see that shot.
I don't know who built the stadium, and I know it wasn't originally called Wrigley Field.
Fly ball to center.
Was it Weigman Park?
It was built for the Federal League.
Okay. I wonder what the thought was with these indentations in right and left field that are they're referred to as the well, where the fences go back.
I don't know the answer to that. You know, Fenway Park, it was because of the restrictions of the buildings behind the ballpark.
Yeah.
And they built the wall because they didn't want people looking in from the high-rise buildings and watching the game for free. Not here. You're right. And the ivy, as Kelsey reported, was indeed planted in the 1930s, and Bill Veeck helped plant the ivy when his family owned the Cubs. Line drive and out of play.
and it's a brick wall behind it. It's unlike any other outfield wall in baseball now. It's not padded. So there's a real reluctance when you know you're on the warning track to keep chasing a fly ball into the ivy because there's no give.
You know, they could have had a great home field advantage. What if they just planted some poison ivy? You know, you could get rid of the bittersweet. You could get rid of the regular old ivy that's been there for 80 some odd years. And just plant some poison ivy out there. No outfielder would ever venture anywhere near the fence. It'd be a sure extra base hit for the Cubs every single time. Guess not.
Drew looked it up for me. Zachary Taylor Davis was the architect, and he's the same guy who drew up the plans for Old Comiskey Park, which was opened in 1910.
That's one of the old ones I never got to see. I wish I had. And Chicago South Side.
It was wearing down.
It was time.
Yeah, it wasn't. With respect to the people who owned the team through the years, it wasn't as kept up and it wasn't as revered as Wrigley Field, I'll say. But I'll tell you what was cool about it. It had green seats and white railings that ran down, you know, to divide all the box seats. Very distinctive. And of course had the exploding scoreboard in center field too.
12 up, 12 down for Lackey, who's trying to get through 6 innings with a shutout. And if this one's caught, he's going to do just that. Baez tells Schwarber, I got it. He does. And that'll do it. 13 up, 13 down. Lackey's through 6 with a 2-0 lead in game 2. Welcome back to the Friday Showdown. The Braves and the Cubs presented by Kaiser Permanente. Through 5.5, it's 2-0 Chicago the lead. I think I figured out why it's extra breezy. And Wrigley today, as that one's lined over Dansby. That's one way to beat the shift. Rizzo strokes a single, his second hit of the game. There's a giant asteroid whizzing by the Earth right now. It's about 3 miles wide. Perhaps in its wake, it's causing the winds to pick up.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Huh? Maybe it caused the hurricane.
You never know.
It is whizzing by, though, right?
Yeah, well, as far we better hope so.
As far as we know.
Yeah. So if it's windy where you are in the southeast, that might be why. So keep that in mind as Happ is up there and has a big swing and a miss. Mike got him out 3 up, 3 down in the 5th inning on 9 pitches. He's up to 93 so far. He's given up 2 runs, hasn't pitched badly. Braves haven't been able to do anything with John Lackey. As we've reached 3 o'clock Central Time on a gorgeous September Friday in Chicago. Braves pen is busy underneath the right field grandstands. That's where the Cubs moved the pens this offseason. A.J. Minter is the first man loosening up. That's out of play to be pushed onto the roof. And 2-2.
Ian Happ is like a great example of the modern day young player. They just go up there and just swing and twist and spread out, flying all over the place and trying to hit the ball 9 miles.
And when he hits it, it goes a long way. When he doesn't, he takes a left turn, which he's done twice today.
There's no in between. 0 in between. But in today's game, that's acceptable.
Wonder how that act will play in the playoffs.
He's going to see really good pitching, number 1.
And as it stands now, the Cubs would face the Washington Nationals if the playoffs were to start tomorrow.
What about Strasburg's outing? Complete game effort.
If ever there was a time for Strasburg to be healthy and ready to go in postseason play, this might be the year. Washington still without Bryce Harper. No timetable yet for his return. I'm starting to wonder if his bone bruise is a little worse than they're letting on. They do have the luxury of waiting to make sure he's 100%.
I don't know, because Camargo will rejoin the team Monday. It's been at least 3 weeks for him, hasn't it?
Sounds about right. But just the way Harper hit the bag and what looked like the total shredding of his knee, I think everybody was surprised that it was merely, and I'm using that term with all due respect, a bone bruise instead of torn ligaments.
Right. Well, as Ron Washington pointed out to me yesterday, we were talking about that, and he said, if you lunge at the bag and land on top of the base, you got to be ready to take what you get, because your foot's going to slide off. I don't care if it's wet or dry.
One pitch back to the screen.
Players are taught to step on the front edge of the bag, the front half of the bag, on Freddie's side of the base there, and not up on top of it, where it's cushiony, soft, and you can slip off.
There are some folks who are wondering if baseball needs to change the composition of the bases, not just because Harper got hurt, but because guys are jamming shoulders and wrists and breaking fingers and all of that. As this one's bounced to first, Freddie fires to second for 1. The return throw to first is in plenty of time, and that retires the side. Nice work by Foltynewicz. We'll continue that thought as we head to the 7th inning. 2-0, Cubs lead it. One mobile app for live Braves baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Braves home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
That young fan's even got Cubs blue glasses on. Great day to be at the ballpark.
And a great time to be a young Cubs fan.
Oh, boy.
After over a century of time passing between world championships, the Cubs are defending their 2016 title this year. Winning this game 2-0. Lackey going to work in the 7th inning. He's retired the last 13 hitters. That's hit toward short. Baez got a friendly hop. And for John Lackey, he was very, very vocal about there was no way, he said, I'm going to go pitch out of the bullpen. And that was when he was in Atlanta, and that start against the Braves at SunTrust Park might have been the start that turned his year around. He went 5 innings, a 5-hit, 1-run ball in Atlanta, and rattled off those 5 consecutive wins before getting hit hard his last 2 starts. So if nothing else, Joe, Lackey is giving Joe Madden, something else to think about when he sets his postseason pitching starting staff. And so my point to you is, as you said, who's hotter? That's who's going to get the assignment. Postseason experience plays too.
Yeah, it does. And he's thrown a 3-hit shutout. Retired 14 in a row. Now, he hasn't pitched that brilliantly since the All-Star break with a 4.5 ERA, but he's been winning. His last start, he lost to the Phillies, 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. That's the only loss he's suffered since the break. Today he's pitching gangbusters.
He is using the park to his advantage. He has 10 fly ball outs on this breezy day.
And early in the count, he's throwing, like I said, 65% first pitch strikes. He didn't do that so much in the first inning, but since then he's getting a lot of outs early in the count. And that's why his pitch counts at 80.
Lackey ready, the 2-1. Right there on called strike.
It takes games like this, like last night from Hendricks, to show people that you do not have to have 96 gas to win if you know how to pitch.
I would wonder if, dovetailing on what you said a moment ago about Ian Happ, as that one's over the outside corner, and Marquez will look back. He is struck out. 5 of those for Lackey, and 2 are out. As you said, with so many hitters going up there and gearing up just to try to hit the ball 8 miles, if you can do what Lackey and Hendricks do, what a weapon to use against a hitter. Their own aggressiveness, not to mention your own pitching arsenal.
Absolutely. Show it to them, and don't let them reach it. Don't throw it to them in their wheelhouse. Make the ball move. Hit spots. Change speeds. Keep the ball down.
2 outs. Kurt Suzuki 0 for 2. And a liner right to second. And that will retire the side.
And a 1 pitch out.
You bet. 16 up, 16 down for John Lackey. We head to the 7th inning stretch. Comes up 2-0. Prospects. Number 18 ranked Miami Hurricanes battle Bethune-Cookman tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on Fox Sports South and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Hopefully your favorite college team has a spectacular season. And hopefully today the Braves can come back from a 2-run deficit in the late innings against the Cubs.
Yeah, it's manageable. Mike has kept it manageable. That double play last inning helped out. A leadoff walk led to a run in the third. A leadoff double followed by a single in the fourth produced the second run. Other than that, he's done okay, and he's struck out one batter today.
$37,280 the crowd at Wrigley as Jason Hayward takes a strike. Mike has not pitched into the 7th inning since August 5th. He's gone 6 1/3 innings twice since the 1st of July. His longest outing of the year was 8 innings in the near no-hit bid against the A's in Oakland.
Well, his last 2 innings have really helped him stay in the game. 9-pitch inning in the 5th, 10-pitch inning in the 6th.
One ball, 2 strikes. What was that?
Hayward's walking. Hayward's headed to the dugout. Come on, Fielding. You gave a strike to Lackey last inning that wasn't a strike on Markakis. Jason knows that. Came back to the plate. That Mike fell down again.
So Hayward ought to be out number 1. Instead, he's got a full count. Enter up in the Braves bullpen. As Fultonevich about to make his 107th pitch. Play, we'll do it again. Mike has thrown 119, I believe, for his season high, and he's done that twice. 119 in the Oakland game. He also threw 119 against Arizona out in Phoenix. Back to the mound, and Dansby can't get it. Even if he does, Hayward's going to beat that. So Hayward should be the first out. Instead, he singles up the middle to start the 7th inning.
Tom Glavine talked about this once before when Fultonevich was pitching, and I'm not going to put words in Tommy's mouth, but he was talking about Mike's follow through. He said anytime you follow through and you're facing center field, that's hard to repeat your delivery when you're falling off that much. There was a case in point where following through like that, he was in no position to field his position on a ball hit basically right back over the top of the pitching rubber.
So Baez the batter. He's 0 for 1 with a walk, a steal, and a run scored. He scored from second on an infield hit from Kyle Schwarber. Mike made a terrific play from his knees to try to erase Kyle for the 3rd out. He just did beat the play on review. And Baez never stopped running around third base with 2 outs and beat the return throw for 3 now. Put the Cubs up 1-0. They added a 4th inning run. Rizzo doubled, Happ singled him home, and that's where we stand. That's in the dirt. These are innings to grow on for Fultonevich, one would think. Bottom part of the order. He'd love a double play ball here. Instead, he missed low. Victor Caratini, the former Braves farmhand, is on deck. As it appears Lackey's going to be done after 7 shutout innings, and why not? He retired 16 straight.
He only threw 50 pitches over the last 5 innings. Freddie pushed Jason. Jason pushed Freddie back.
Hello, buddies. Little tapper. Mike will make the sure play to first. And Hayward advances on the ground ball out. Here's Caratini.
Cubs activated Jason Grimm off the disabled list. They called up infielder Mike Freeman, right-handed pitcher Dylan Maples, and catcher Vic Caratini, who you just saw here, as Brian Snitker makes his way to the mound to make a change.
So we'll tell you all about Victor Caratini. Mike Foltynewicz did an excellent job of keeping the Braves close in a game that's been dominated by John Lackey and his 7 innings of shutout work. The Foltynewicz family on their feet saluting his effort, but he's on the short end at the moment. 2-0 in the 7th inning. Seventh inning, they got a runner at second and 1 man out. 113 pitches for Mike Foltynewicz.
A.J. Minter on his 4th game. Last worked at Philadelphia in game 1. Just a perfect inning. 0s across. Caratini, the former Braves minor leaguer, is a switch hitter, so he'll grab a different helmet.
Caratini's just 24 years old. Braves traded him to the Cubs July 31st, 2014 for Emilio Bonifacio and James Russell. Caratini's out of Puerto Rico. One ball, no strikes for Victor Caratini. This guy might have been my grandfather's favorite player, where he's still with us.
Yeah.
I could imagine him having several Caratinis after a Cubs game in September.
This is for you, Vic.
Hey! One ball, one strike.
Pretty good pitch.
Yep. 2-1. Hayward, a big lead out at second base. Minter readies and delivers. Broke his bat. And Freeman will take it to the bag. Jason to third base. And 2 are out for Ben Zobrist. thing that the Cubs have in abundance is versatile players. Zobrist certainly qualifies as that, not just in what they can do on the field, whether they can bat left-handed or right-handed, but the places Joe Madden can put them in the lineup. Zobrist is one of 10 different men to bat leadoff for the Cubs this year.
And also a switch hitter.
And he takes a strike.
Good slider there, wasn't it? At 90.
Mm-hmm.
Just joined us. Braves called up some people today. They activated some people today from the disabled list. Mostly pitchers. Brothers Kroll and Jackson all back from AAA. Kroll and Jackson were on rehabs. Max Fried recalled. It said that he will pitch on Sunday here, make the start. Ruiz at third base today, and Tony Sanchez probably here by now after he was acquired from the Angels for Brandon Phillips.
0-2 pitch. Lifted towards center. Perfect place to get a fly ball out. And Ender is there, and that retires the Cubs in the 7th inning. 2 runs for Fultonevich allowed in 6 1/3 innings. We go to the 8th inning. We also go back to Atlanta with today's big story. Game for Braves Live. We'll recap Game 2 action. Get you set for Game 3 here tomorrow afternoon. As Atlanta will no longer look at John Lackey, they'll have to face Pedro Strop, who's on for his 57th outing.
Their setup guy, 8th inning guy. Or Davis, their closer. 165 average. Some defensive moves in the outfield. Almora in center. Happ moves to left. Schwarber out of the game.
First pitch, fly ball by Rio, deep left. That ball is going to be into the ivy, and that is going to be a ground rule double. So a good start for Rio Ruiz, back in the big leagues with a 2-hit game. And no chance for Happ, who didn't throw his hands up. He just bent over and bowed to the baseball as it died a merciful death in the ivy in left field. That's the first Braves base runner since the 2nd inning.
And immediately brings the tying run to the plate. A good return for Rio Ruiz back to the big leagues. 2 hits today. 2 for 3 with this double. Swallowed up.
See, paying his respects. Let's see if Dansby can get his man over. with the pitcher spot due next. Cubs got Pedro Strop with Jake Arrieta for Scott Feldman and Steve Clevenger. A great trade for Chicago. The word is that when the Cubs got Arrieta, Chris Bosio said, Jake, you just need to come to Chicago and pitch the way you think you need to pitch. Be yourself. And that's when the light bulb went off for Arrieta. He's had a great run in the Cubs rotation. He's arguably their hottest pitcher right now. People will miss him.
Strop throws hard. He's got a big slider.
Two balls, no strikes. Foul back. Always wondered how Pedro would have fared against Mike Sharperson. Laser shines.
Do you know?
It's the eighth inning, buddy. Runner at second, 2 balls and a strike. Here it is. That's hit to short. Baez makes the play. Dansby couldn't move the runner over. He is wisely headed back to second base. And now Lane Adams will grab a bat. He's not afraid of the wind here at Wrigley Field. He showed us that last night. This guy has had a fantastic year for the Braves. Fun to watch, especially if he can do this again.
Got a little spinner slider out over the plate. Kept it below the wind.
That was the 9th pinch hit home run hit by the Braves, more than any other team in big leagues, and one shy of the team record of 10. And the 43rd pinch hit RBI for Atlanta this year. See if the Braves can get one here, 1 on, 1 out in a 2-run game. To third. Bryant's got it. Again, the look of the runner back. We've seen this a little bit too much on the road trip at times. Getting leadoff guys on into scoring position, less than 2 outs, and not able to cash in. So Joe Maddon's on his way out. Braves 0 for 6 today with runners in scoring position. Joe Maddon's going to bring on another pitcher to face Ender Inciarte. We'll tell you who it is when we come back for the 8th inning. Still 2-0 Chicago in front. The coach, Ron Santo.
Billy Williams
from Whistler, Alabama. And Harry Carey outside Wrigley Field.
I like the way they've incorporated some color in their statues. You know, they've got some blue accents, like uniform accents on Banks and Williams and Santo.
And retired numbers hang from the foul poles here in Chicago. On the foul pole screens, you might see the script, "Hey, hey." That's because the Cubs had another legendary broadcaster here for so many years, Jack Brickhouse, who not only broadcast the Cubs, he broadcast the White Sox at the same time back in the days when teams didn't do road games.
I did not know that.
Huh. He did just about everything here in Chicago on WGN radio and television. Hall of Famer too. Brian Densing is the Cubs pitcher. Ender Inciarte the batter. He's 1 for 3. Leadoff double, but Leo's still at second base, and they'll throw behind him. It is in safely. 1 ball, no strikes.
Densing was brought in last night to pitch to Ender and retired him on a ground ball to second.
Two balls, no strikes.
30 inherited runners for Densing. Only 5 have scored.
Think that'll play in the playoffs?
Oh boy. Just a specialist, you know, left-handed guy. Come in and get an out here or there to get out of an inning. You bet it does.
Back to the mound. And a terrific follow through for Densing. Retires Inciarte, and the Braves waste a leadoff double to start the inning. 2-0 Chicago. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for them. So do the Braves, including the one honoring their Hall of Fame manager Bobby Cox, and you can get your replica version at SunTrust Park Saturday, September 22nd. It's presented by Coca-Cola, and it's free to the first 20,000 fans who join us at SunTrust Park. Get your tickets today at Braves.com.
Love that statue, don't you?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And September 22nd is the Braves and the Phillies.
Hosey wants to get back on track. Pitched at Philadelphia in Game 2. Got 2 outs, but he also walked 3 guys. Walked the bases loaded, and Arodys Vizcaíno had to come in the 8th inning and work an inning and a third to finish off that doubleheader sweep.
So he's got Almora, Bryant, and Rizzo. And the Chicago 8th.
He had only walked 2 in the month of August prior to that outing.
To center and pretty well hit. Ender is there. And you almost need a howitzer to hit it out to center field in this game.
And see how Ender turned and took off, but he kept his eye on the baseball. Otherwise, he runs off and leaves it because the wind will knock it down.
Ender's been busy. 7 putouts in the game in center. Chris Bryant 0 for 3. He's been on base in each of his last 25 starts, so that impressive number is on the line in his 8th inning, perhaps. A strike over the outside corner.
Brewers have done a really nice job of shutting down this Cubs offense today that's been so hot. But the flip side is the offense hasn't been here.
Much about Chris Bryant's scare in Atlanta when he had a headfirst slide and came up grabbing his right pinky. Well, he got hit by a pitch in Cincinnati a week ago or so and had to come out of the game. And that led to an interesting situation for Joe Madden. The Cubs were down to, I think, one more player. They had to have somebody else go over and play third base. You know who did it? Anthony Rizzo, left-handed. That's only part of the story. Do you know who the last left-handed third baseman in the big leagues was before Anthony Rizzo went over there for a couple of hitters?
Mike Squires.
Nope, but he did. He played for the White Sox, right?
Mm-hmm.
His name will shock you. Don Mattingly actually started 2 games in August of 1986 at third base. I didn't know that either.
I want to say Mattingly, I mean, it was kind of a joke at this point, but when the Royals went back in to finish up the Pine Tar game, Billy Martin just had all kinds of weird guys out playing in the field. And I'm going to say Mattingly played second to finish up that game.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And to take it even further back for the Cubs, the last left-handed Cub third baseman was a man named George Decker. 1895. Bryant was beside himself. First the pitch, which is inside, ball 4. So the walks for Ramirez continue to be problematic. Rizzo and Bryant are, as you'd expect, very close on the team. And Bryant deadpan said, "Great, now I got to hear how great a third baseman he thinks he is now for the rest of the year." So Ramirez gives up a fly out and a base on balls. Brian Snitker is on his way out. That'll be the end of the line for Jose. The 8th inning continues. Cubs 2, Atlanta nothing. We'll see how it works out in a moment. beautiful breezy day here on the first day of September 2017.
It'll be frozen over by this time next week.
Pretty good chance. As you look inside Wrigley Field, where the Cubs enjoy a 2-0 advantage. Rex Brothers back from AAA Gwinnett. Now that rosters have expanded, he's going to come on and face Anthony Rizzo.
He made 3 appearances for Gwinnett after he was sent down on August 19th. 3 appearances. One of them he got a save. 2 2/3 innings total. 2 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts.
So let's see what Mr. Brothers can do with Anthony Rizzo, who entered this series hitting .283 against lefties.
Rex has got a good slider. Let's see if he uses it on Rizzo. And again. About pitching him in, you've got to do what he just did. You really got to bury it in and take the risk of hitting him like he suggested earlier. But in an effort to try to win back some of the outer third of the plate, you've got to do that.
2 balls, no strikes. Dangerous pitch, 3-0. Back-to-back walks, first for Brothers. Now a big insurance run is in scoring position for the Cubs, and Happ is the hitter. Again, as you suggested, he's going for the pump every time up there. He struck out twice today.
And this guy's a switch hitter, so even though Chuck's on the phone to the bullpen again to get somebody up, maybe they can throw strikes. It won't matter who he brings in because Happ can switch around.
No balls and a strike. Hakeem Olajuwon couldn't have caught that one cleanly. And the runners move up on a very wild pitch. So now the Braves will walk Happ intentionally. You've got the catcher up there. It's lefty-lefty, and you'll hope that Brothers can get a velo without contact or get a double play ball.
And there's another lefty up in the bullpen, Ian Kroll. He has worked in 4 rehab games and pitched quite well. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs. That looked like a ball.
Strike 1. Tough to defend bases on balls, 3 in a row. One of them an intentional walk. And the Cubs have the bases loaded in a 2-run game in the home 8th. More importantly, only 1 out. I'm not sure that's where he wanted that pitch, but Avila couldn't stop himself. A ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he got away with it. So now's a good time for the slider.
Bryant Rizzo and Happ the runners. The pitch. Good stop.
Nice play, Kurt. Smothered it, shifted, nice play.
Here's where you want action. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he got it. Struck him out. So there's a big second out of the inning. And another lefty coming up. It's Jason Hayward. Atlanta will have their 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up in the 9th inning. It won't be easy with Wade Davis lurking, but still, you like your chances better down 2-0 than 3 or more.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's why that double last inning, or the top of this inning, rather, seems so instrumental. Braves couldn't get him over from second, couldn't get him in. But a lot easier to catch up down 2-0 than 3 or 4.
Right there, a strike. Hayward was hopping out of the way of that pitch. Make a quick resolution of this at bat as the shadows start to creep toward home plate. Late afternoon hours. No balls and a strike. Times Lee Smith would come in and pitch for the Cubs when the shadows were right over home plate, and he's throwing 98 miles an hour with no lights to help. Good luck with that.
Yeah, scary dude.
The 1-1 pitch. And the Braves are a strike away from getting out of this self-made mess. Struck him out. What a comeback. Brothers walks 2, then strikes out 2. So how about that for drama in the home 8th? The Cubs strand the bases loaded, and the Braves have a shot in the 9th, down 2-0. The city is Chicago is a wonderful architectural city. You can take a boating architectural tour down the Chicago River and out onto Lake Michigan. And on a day like yesterday, a day like today, what a way to start your weekend. Weekend started yesterday with a 6-2 Cubs win in this 4-game series. That's all water under the bridge as we go to Wade Davis with the 2-3-4 hitters coming up for the Bravos.
You just put them all back to back, didn't you?
Trying, buddy.
Especially the Wade part. 27 for 27. He's the only guy perfect in saves this year in baseball, and it's a Cubs record for most consecutive saves to start his Cubs career. Mid to upper 90s with a cutter.
Ozzie Albies the first man. Cubs pinch in, thinking he might try to bunt. That one missed inside, ball one. Different look for the Cubs in the 9th inning compared to last year. They had Aroldis Chapman. It's Wade Davis.
Who also has postseason experience from his days in Kansas City.
Davis began his career as a starting pitcher with the Tampa Bay Rays. So Joe Madden knows all about him. He managed him. The Royals converted him to relief work after an 8-11 season in 2013. And in successive seasons with the Royals, Davis saved 3, then 17, then 27 games last year. 2-1 pitch. Is up and in. The Cubs traded outfielder Jorge Soler to acquire Wade Davis, who has the best ERA of any relief pitcher in the game since the start of the 2014 season. And he keeps the ball in the ballpark. Generally speaking, so they'll work hard to beat him. Hitters count 3-1.
Interesting though, Chippy gave up 3 home runs in August after only giving up 1 in his first 37 games. Get somebody on. Middle of the order coming up.
Good at bat to start the 9th inning. Ozzie takes a walk. And that will indeed bring the tying run to the plate. It is Freddie Freeman. And how big is the bottom of the 8th looking at the moment?
It's huge. Great finish by Brothers to get those 2 strikeouts. We've seen it so many times when the Braves are trying to defend a lead in the 9th inning. That leadoff walk always seems to lead to problems.
He's 0 for 3. He has seen Davis before. Tell you about that after the pitch, which is cut out and missed. He went for the downs. Freeman's 1 for 1 against the Cubs reliever. He just issued his first leadoff walk of the year here on September 1st. Ground ball might be 2. Second base 1. First base double play.
Ben Zobrist just showed you how strong he is. He had to make a long throw to get this started, and he did so without really doing anything except pivoting his body. And I mean, he threw a seed over there to Baez.
Braves aren't done yet. They've got Matt Kemp. 2 outs. 2-0 Chicago. Braves have scored a grand total of 0 runs in Mike Foltynewicz's last 2 starts. See if Kemp can change that. Strike 1. man that has seen Davis the most is the man that's on deck. That's Nick Markakis, dating back to their days in the American League. Davis was with Tampa Bay certainly, and Markakis was an Oriole. I was looking for a career high 28th save today. No balls and a strike. $37,000+ stand is one as Davis delivers the 1-1. It's outside. Lucas Sims and John Lester square off tomorrow afternoon, I should say. Game 3 of the series. Good cut that fouls it off Avila's mask. And the Braves are down to their last strike. Two balls, two strikes as we approach 4 o'clock. Strike 3, there's the cutter, and that ends the ball game. Davis strikes out Matt Kemp. He earns his 28th save. John Lackey beats Mike Foltynewicz, and the Braves hope to have a chance to earn a split. They'll have to win the last 2 games of this series to do that. The Cubs win 2-0, Joe, and trim their magic number to win the Central to 25 games.
John Lackey was amazingly good today. I don't think any of us expected to see him go through the Braves like he did. 7 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball, and retire the last 16 in a row.
He was outstanding. Mike Foltynewicz, 2 solid starts in a row with nothing to show for it as the Braves fall in game 2, 2-0. Plenty to talk about with you on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. That's coming up next.